Olá, sejam bem-vindos ao primeiro episódio do Além da Sala. Eu sou o Gabriel Zilioto da 3M1
Eu sou o Arthur Santiago Dutra, mais conhecido como Dutra.
e para começar o nosso primeiro episódio, nós temos o incrível Mr. Alex, professor de biologia. Present yourself. King of Biology.
Nothing more that you guys give me such big titles. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thanks so much to have come.
No, it's my pleasure. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to do this in English because
No, it's fine. It's going to be English on the
Okay.
presentation.
Cool.
For sure.
It's been a long week.
So, to start, we want to ask you, how did you go by Oxford, England, to Curitiba, Paraná,
How
killing
did I
class
end up in
positive?
Curitiba? Well, like many good stories in life, it started when a boy met a girl.
That's cute, that's
Or
cute.
more accurately, when a girl decided that the boy behind the bar looked nice and gave her her phone number. So yeah, I ended up in Curitiba, I think maybe by fate. It was a bit of an interesting story. So I was on break from university in my second year. So this was winter break, so it would have been just around the end of December, beginning of January.
Mhm.
I was working in a bar in my hometown of Henley, trying to save up some money so I would not have to resort to eating nothing but instant ramen the first 2 months of uni again. And I was cleaning up because we were nearly at the end of the night, and this girl, tall, brown hair, green eyes, walked up. And at first I thought she wanted a drink, so I said like, no, I'm not working. And she was like, come here. So I went, okay. I went over expecting her to ask for a drink, and instead she gave me a piece of paper and said, call me. And then ran away from the bar.
Damn.
And I sort of went, yeah, okay. And then, yeah. What's interesting is, that night she wasn't feeling well, and she wasn't drinking either. And all of her friends kept saying, oh no, wait till next week, he'll be back, he'll be there next week, he'll be there, you can ask him next week when you feel better. That was my last shift before going back to university. So if she hadn't asked me, we'd have never met. And that's how I met Fernanda. And then we dated for about 2 years. Sort of half in England, half long distance between England and Brazil.
Mhm.
And then I graduated in the middle of the credit crisis in the UK. Now, I probably should have done a little bit better on my degree than I did, but you know. So there were really no jobs at all in the UK. I was working in a shop called Carphone Warehouse, which is a mobile phone shop.
Oh.
Not exactly
Your
They
line of
dreamed
work.
not exactly what I wanted to do after I graduated. So Fernanda said, well, let's try Brazil. And I figured, okay. I should point out at this point we were engaged. I had popped the question on Christmas Day in front of my parents' fireplace. And yeah, so she said, let's try Brazil. And I figured, yeah, why not? For two major reasons. One, these things in the UK were pretty tough, and two, the visa requirements here are a lot less than they are for Fernanda to go to the UK. So I moved halfway around the world and got married at the age of 24.
Wow.
And yeah, I got to Brazil and was like, okay, what do I do now? Spent the first 6 months here trying to learn enough Portuguese to sort of get by. I think I'm kind of there now. And then I got to the point where I was like, I need to get out of this apartment. apartment more than just twice a week to go learn Portuguese. I need to go do something or I'm going to lose my mind. So I did what every single English-speaking foreigner who has ever lived here has done. I went and taught English at a language school. And I did that for 2 years. Then Fernanda was working at another school called Everest, and luckily her principal knew the principal that worked here, and I was given a chance. And I've been working here now for nearly 11 years. And that's sort of the short version of how I ended up in Curitiba. There's a house and some kids in there as well. So yeah, that's sort of that's the version of how I got here.
Amazing. Just a destiny.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
For a week.
Yeah, if it had been a week later, who knows? I'd have probably ended up following Dad and going into the police in the UK if I'd stayed.
That's an alternative value.
I don't think it's that different half the time, actually.
all the time policing people and trying to break the law.
Trying to just keep students under control, riots. You guys are actually pretty well behaved.
Oh, thanks a lot.
No, seriously, it's an interesting thing. I don't know, maybe I was in a private school as well when I was in England, and Brazilian kids generally seem to be a lot kinder to each other compared to English kids.
Really?
Yeah. You don't know the stories I could tell.
You were in only boys' school, right?
Yes, from the age of 13 to 17-ish, 16, 17, it was just boys. The only girls were in the sixth form. So the last 2 years, what we call high school here. So segunda séries and terceira séries is when we had girls. But my year we were rather unfortunate. There were only 6 girls to 60 boys. So
it was a war.
No, the sort of the very good-looking top athlete guys. The top 6 all got girlfriends within a week, and the rest of us were just back to being alone.
Were you an RPG guy, or?
No, I was a little bit of an RPG computer gaming nerd at school, but not as much as I am now. I used to do a lot of other things. Probably not study as much as I should have. But anyway. So,
like your experience as a child in the UK must be very different from their experience for your children. Like, do you make them watch like Monty Python and stuff like that?
No, yeah, they're a little young for Monty Python. Well, my kids are very much bilingual kids. They do watch both Brazilian cartoons and more British or English cartoons. For example, Elena, my daughter, right now is going through her Bluey phase. So she's watching Bluey or she's watching Pokemon. So it's
that's a pretty good one.
Arthur, my son, who's the eldest, is actually always been very much sort of interested in engineering and building and just technical stuff. So he likes either watching YouTube videos about that or Cursing Cat, in a nutshell, that YouTube channel. So he doesn't really do cartoons too often. He's always sort of watching TED Talks and stuff, which at 10 is a bit like, okay. But it does do more.
You don't like TikTok and stuff?
I'm not a huge fan. I think it's a bit of a waste of time for you guys. You could be doing other things, but you're watching videos of people doing silly dances. I mean, don't get me wrong. I watch brain rot videos on social media too now and again. It's nice to just like switch off and not have to actually think. But if you do it too much, you just lose the time.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you will never get back. Time is something that never ends, but it's easy to lose. So far.
That's
Then
that hit me.
I have my moments.
I'm gonna feel every time I open my phone, I'm gonna remember it.
I'm
No,
constantly
no,
TikTok right now.
It never stops, but it's easy to lose. And you can't get it back afterwards. That's the problem.
Wow.
But, yeah.
It is pretty fun.
It is fun. Don't get me wrong. There is a point in your life where you should be having fun. At your age, you guys should be having some fun. You should be making some reasonable adolescent mistakes. You should be doing some things that maybe when you look back when you're a bit older, you can be a bit embarrassed about and laugh at with your friends. But you shouldn't be doing anything that is going to damage your future. But you should be having fun.
That's
Because, like, some of the friendships you will make at this time of your life are the ones that you will carry for the rest of your life. Like, I have 2 friends back in the UK that I have known now 25 years.
wow.
And one of them was my best man at my wedding. And the 2 of them are probably as close to brothers as I will ever have, because I only have a sister. Thank you, Mum and Dad. But we met while we were at school, and we grew up through all of that. We grew up through those shared experiences, those silly mistakes, those sitting at 1 a.m. in your friend's basement crying because the girl you probably shouldn't have asked out on a date broke your heart again. But that's an important part of growing up, and it's something that everyone should experience. And I'm very glad I got to experience that. I'm also very glad that social media was less of a thing back in my day, so there's less of a record of
Fair. And when you came to Brazil, you had like a cultural shock, like something you see around.
Yeah, no, there were definitely a few culture shocks. Time and time management is something that's very ingrained in British people. We hate to be late.
Oh.
Like, seriously, if you say to someone 2 o'clock, it means 2 o'clock.
That doesn't hold here.
That was one of my first shocks. I said I'd arranged to meet someone at a park, I think, to chill, and just to sort of practice my Portuguese a bit, because I think it was a exchange program through the language program, which was run by the Federal University.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd agreed to meet at this park at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And now this is me, like 2 months into living here, just about figuring out how the bus works, going there by myself, getting there and making sure I got there at 2, and then waiting for hours, for like 2 hours for the guy to turn up. And then he does turn up, I was like, and I'm like, you're 2 hours late? What the hell? Like, that is really insulting. And the guy's like, oh, tranquilo. And I'm like, no, tranquilo. I'm leaving now. But I think I also got lucky that Fernanda lived in Curitiba, because Curitibans are very similar to sort of most Europeans, and also I'd argue very similar to English people. You know, they're a little bit more reserved. There's a lot less hugging and kissing. No, which for English people is a bit like, okay, we're doing the touching today. But yeah, no, Curitiba, I think the timekeeping was one of the things. Rice and beans. Rice and beans was the thing. So when I arrived here, me and Fernando didn't really have a lot. It was pretty basic. So we were living in an apartment we were renting, and of course, she cooked rice and beans every day because it's cheap, filling, and also it's normal for you guys to have rice and beans almost every day. It's not a dish we normally ever eat in the UK at all. So first off, I was trying to get over the fact of eating rice and beans together, which was a bit like, And then it was getting used to the fact of having it every day. I was just like, no, I cannot stand rice and beans anymore. Now it's a little easier. Now I can sort of have it 3-4 times a week, and I'll be like, okay, I can deal with that, but I need a bit of variety now and again. Pound occasional as well.
Oh, but Blink is so good.
No, now I really do. When I first moved here, I think I just had bad pound occasional or something, or it wasn't like really well made, so it just tasted like chewing elastic. It was like,
I know there are those ones. So
sometimes
sometimes.
like, not sure I like this. But everyone else was like really happy to get it. I was like, yeah. But other than that, no. Well, there wasn't really that much culture shock because I've travelled quite a bit in my life as well, so I'm kind of used to going to different places. Like I've been to a few different countries in Africa. I went to India for my dissertation, and I've been to a few places in Europe too. So it's not as bad. And Brazil really isn't that different from Europe. It's very European, so it kind of isn't too much of a
We were colonized by then.
This one thankfully is not my nation's fault, so I can't take the blame for this one.
Yeah. And how was your experience in India? I mean,
Okay. So India was a very, very interesting place. I wrote my university dissertation on tiger conservation in northern Ranthambore, which is a state in India. We landed in Delhi and we walked out of the airport and it was like walking into a brick wall. Just the heat, the sound, the smell, just... That was an interesting experience. Delhi traffic makes Sao Paulo traffic look calm and relaxed.
really?
Yeah, Indian traffic is a thing someone should experience once in their life.
So appreciate your hometown.
Oh yeah, Richmond traffic is nothing compared to Delhi. What was also interesting is we ended up cramming, I think, 8 students in the back of a tuk-tuk, which is a motorcycle taxi with 3 wheels, and there were 8 of us crammed in this thing.
8 people?
Yeah, again, this guy was going the wrong way round, roundabouts, not stopping for traffic lights or anything, and I'm hanging on the side of this thinking, I am about to die. This could be interesting. So we spent one night in Delhi, and then we took the train from Delhi up to a city in Ranthambore, where we then got a bus to where we were staying. We then spent a week doing field work in the park, and then we had what we originally thought was going to be about 3 days to go and do a bit of sightseeing. So we took the train to Agra, went to see the Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is amazing, Agra less so, but I will make the statement that there is nothing good to see in Agra apart from the Taj Mahal. So if you ever do go, just do 1 day in Agra. It's not worth spending any more time there. Then went to Jaipur. Jaipur is an amazing city and really, really good fun. We had a really good time there. And then we went back to Delhi and we had like 2 days in hand before our flights. Or we thought we did, because by the time we got back to Delhi, a volcano in Iceland had decided to erupt.
Oh.
Which therefore meant basically every flight into Europe was grounded. And I got stuck in Delhi for an extra 2 weeks. Which at the time was an absolute disaster because I was worried about getting back from finals. But now that I look back, I thought I really should have seized that opportunity to go do some more stuff or see some more stuff, not just sit in the hotel room waiting for a phone call to tell me that I could get a flight back. We all did kind of come up with a plan to get a flight to southern Italy and then take the train all the way through Europe, which would have actually been, I think, a fun way of doing it as well, but we didn't in the end. I think it was me and about 9 other people from my biology course, and we were just sort of sitting there in a hotel room in Delhi like, okay. But the university was really cool about it. They just said, look, don't worry, you can do the finals when you get back. You're not the only people this has happened to. It's okay. So,
good, better.
Yeah, it was really good with that. So it wasn't like, oh, well, you can't be here, so you're screwed. It was, it's not your fault, so don't worry about it.
Better the way.
Yeah.
And you saw a lot of cows in the street there.
Yeah, no, the whole cows thing is definitely true. We got stuck in a traffic jam for about half an hour because there was a cow taking a nap.
Oh.
And you do not get out and move the cow. Oh, no. Moving the cow is a big no-no. Moving a cow, it's just absolutely not.
You go to jail or something like that?
No, you aren't going to make it to jail. They're going to find a tree nearby. And yeah, you're not leaving the tree.
Oh.
Yeah, you do not mess with the sacred cow.
Damn.
Although going to McDonald's in India is an interesting experience because there is no beef on the menu at all. It's just fish or chicken. And oddly enough, McDonald's was the one place none of us got sick from. You are going to get food poisoning if you go to India. It's
that bad?
Yeah, it is. It's almost guaranteed. The only person I know who never ended up losing weight going to India was one of my female cousins. Her brother went to India and got some kind of stomach bug and lost, I think, like 6 or 7 kilos over a month. And my cousin, who she's a fairly big lass, thought, that's a great idea to lose some weight. She's the only person I've ever met that actually put on weight while in India, which was a bit unfortunate. But,
congratulations to her, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she went out there as an English teacher and basically just spent the whole time playing cricket. That's something else that's amazing about India is, so you know here, like, kids, whenever school gets out, that 9 times out of 10 everyone's going to have a game of football on the street or something. Or at the park, right? In India, every lunchtime or every time the school gets out, everyone's playing cricket. Everywhere. I think we got asked to play cricket almost every day. We were in Delhi. We were on the street like, hey, English, come! And we'd end up playing cricket for an hour or two. Which was
fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. Definitely different.
Talk about sports. You do the sword thing, right?
Okay, yeah. So here, I don't get as much sport as I would like. I go to the gym a few times a week, which I should probably do more. And I study something called HEMA, which is Historical European Martial Arts. So HEMA itself is based on historical treatises from the 13th to 16th century throughout Europe, and it's basically just sort of, it's kind of like Olympic fencing, but more the roots of Olympic fencing. So you can study a broad range of things. I, for example, study the German masters in longsword, which is a two-handed sword. And I find it really good fun. I really enjoy it, but there's a lot of people who do military saber or sword and shield or spear or almost anything. And there's different sort of ways of studying HEMA. Some people just study it because they find it relaxing and they don't really do any sparring. There's more modern sparring, which is what I do with modern protective equipment. And then there's the guys who do everything in full plate armor, which is a bit crazy. And that's either, a lot of people call that Berhardt or what was the other name? It was like medieval UFC or something like that. No, that seriously does. It's very, very big in Eastern Europe, and it's becoming very big in the US as well. So it's a growing sport, actually, and I really, really enjoy it. I've been studying HEMA now, I think, for 3.5 years now.
That's some time.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. Knee permitting, because my knee is a bit funny at the moment, I'm actually going to try for my club's professional team, so hopefully I'll get to compete a bit more and maybe go to nationals this year. maybe.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it'd be nice. I nearly went last year, but sort of everything fell through, so it didn't happen, unfortunately.
I will be there cheering for you.
Well, I don't even know if we're gonna actually have it this year or not. It's
I'm gonna get some pom-poms, you know.
Okay. If you wanna come along, and if you want, we can maybe get the podcast to sponsor me.
That seems kind of fun.
Brilliant, go for it. Why not?
You said one time about making a club about that, right?
Yeah, no, I did want to, but it's a little hard to do because you need a lot of equipment, and the equipment's not necessarily quite easy to get hold of or cheap. Yeah, and it's not a very violent sport, but you have to be sensible in it, and if you don't have the proper equipment, you can get hurt. So you've got to be, you've got to be a bit more mature and sensible.
Oh, yeah. And you're doing a lot of head for your heads, right?
The idea is not to get hit in the head, but yeah, that can happen. But no, I would love to do a club here at the school, but it's not feasible at the moment.
That's bad. I would join.
No, I think there'd be quite a few of you guys that would want to join, but we've got to find the equipment, find the time, and also there's the safety issue.
Oh.
But that's all. But I mean, who knows? Maybe next year.
But you do have a club here, right? The RPG club.
Yeah, no, I do have a club here. I run the RPG club because I am a secret nerd. The RPG club has done really well. We were running. It's the second year we're running it. Last year I think we had about 15 or so people because we had 2 tables running. This year we're going to have around 15 people again. So we'll probably have 2 role-playing tables. One I'll be running, and then hopefully the other one will be student-led. I'm also going to try and encourage people to bring in some board games and some other game systems if they want to, just to sort of try some different things, and maybe I'll try and introduce you guys to my other hobby, which is Warhammer 40,000.
Never heard about
I'm
it.
a bit familiar with it, but I don't know the rules exactly, just know about the universe.
Okay, so Warhammer 40,000 is a gaming system that started in the 80s in the UK. I started collecting, and I should probably explain a bit more first. So Warhammer 40,000 is a tabletop war game set in the future, and you use models that you build and paint yourself to represent units. There's a set of rules, and it involves dice, and you normally have to complete objectives and score points and such. So it's a tabletop battle, basically.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I really love it. I love the building, I love the painting, although I'm probably not as good painting-wise as I should be, because I kind of get a bit bored or a bit impatient. And I love the lore. The lore of that universe is fantastic. It's a little grim dark, so there's not really that many happy endings, but it's nice to have a bit of grim dark sometimes. And yeah, I think it would be interesting to introduce you guys to it. It's a lot easier to get into the hobby nowadays as well, because 3D printing is now a thing, so it's actually quite easy and a lot cheaper to get hold of models. When I first moved here, I kind of had to stop because it was impossible to get hold of anything because it's only sold in the UK, it's not sold here. So it was a bit sad, but now that 3D printing is advanced to the point where I can print out models at a third of the price or even a tenth of the price of what they are in the UK. Yeah, I'm having a great time.
And just to ask, where did you come that love for biology? You always like it, or just was, it's here, I'm gonna do it because...
Bio was always kind of my best subject at school, and it's always something I just enjoyed. It's always something that's just clicked with me. Like, it just made sense, I enjoyed it. And when I decided to go to university, the advice I was given was like, okay, do something that you really enjoy, or do something that you feel is going to be a better fit for you. Now, maybe that wasn't the best advice from the teachers. Maybe I should have done something that was more career focused. But I did bio. It is what it is, and yeah. And no, I really enjoyed doing bio at university. It was pretty deep. Most university courses in England are modular, so you pick the modules you want to do, and I normally end up focusing on genetics or ecology, because those were sort of my major interests. And yeah, that was just sort of why I did biology. I also really liked history, but
I do like history too.
yeah,
History
is really, really cool, but the teacher who was sort of advising me on my university choices sort of said, don't do history. And no, in all fairness, he was a history teacher himself, and he said, look, if you do history, the likelihood is you'll end up in one of two careers. You're either going to work in a museum, or you're going to be a history teacher. And you know, I'm not sure you want to do those, so I did bio. Interestingly enough, while I was doing bio, I never really thought I'd end up being a teacher. I did the extra bit for the teaching.
just for doing.
Yeah, and also just in case. But like, I didn't actually think about being a teacher until I moved here. I did consider joining the army for quite a while when I was about your age. And I was a reservist for a university, which was really, really good fun for several different reasons. No, it was, for one, it was good money. Like, every training night was £50 of pay, which for a student at that time, that was at least 10 hours of work in the bar. So
it's pretty good.
that was pretty decent. And then if I went on a weekend exercise, it was £100 for running around in the field and having fun and having to sleep under a tent or a tarp for the night. And as we were university reservists, I didn't have to worry about being sent anywhere because they weren't allowed to send any university lot out. And no, it was just really good fun. And the reservist mess, so the place where we ate, I could get a really good meal, like a big meal, for about £1.50.
No rice and beans.
No rice and beans. It was always like really solid English food, so like potatoes and some veg and then some meat, or it would be burgers and fries or something. And the university reservist bar was very cheap too, so it was good fun. But no, I had a great time at uni with that. It was really good fun. But it did show me that maybe I didn't want to be in charge of 30 other people's lives in the middle of a war zone getting shot at.
Yeah.
It was really like, okay, I enjoy this, I have fun, but no, sorry, slowly dripping. But being in charge of 30 other people and knowing that at some point I'm going to give an order that is going to get someone killed is not something I really felt I wanted to deal with.
It's not that cool.
No, not that cool. So yeah, in the end I decided I was going to finish my degree in biology and see where the world took me. And then I met Fernando and it took me here.
You're in Curitiba, giving class in Positivo.
There are certainly worse places to be. I've been in the school 10 years and you know what, I've really seen this place grow and change and become better every year. Like, it's a real privilege to work with the people I work with because they are amazing. Like, the coordinators we have right now are some of the best I've ever worked with.
Oh, that's cool.
And you guys are good students too, actually.
Stop.
No, seriously, like, you're all different, you all joke around and stuff, but you all do work hard. You know, you all do have a goal and you all do want to be here. You're not just sort of, because I have had students in the past that have been nowhere near as good as a lot of you guys, behavior-wise or otherwise. So, you know, it's really nice to work with a bunch of young people that actually have a goal and actually want to do something with their lives.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and you know, as I said, you guys are generally a lot nicer to each other than a lot of people were when I was your age? You know, sorry.
England.
I'm not sure if it's England. I think British public schools, especially British private schools, when I was younger, when I was in my teens, there was a lot of bullying and hazing, and it was considered normal. It was considered character building.
It's like more of a time thing than a region thing.
More of a time thing and more of a cultural thing back then. That's now changed a lot. Yeah, we should probably wrap this up because it is 4:30. I've got to go and start RPG club.
Okay, so thanks everyone here for watching, and
thank
you for joining us in our first ever episode.
I hope it's the first of many, and
I hope
I haven't killed it with one bad interview.
No, it was a great interview. I'm sure it's gonna be hold up for a long time.
Everybody's gonna love it.
You're gonna get one view, which is me.
No, I'm gonna make some people watch it.
Okay. You're gonna make them watch it.
You're gonna force it.
I'm gonna force it, yeah.
So, bye.
Thank you very much,
Can
guys.
press
Have a
the
great
button.